Welcome to the Pearls of Wisdom podcast, where we mix business, law of attraction, spirituality, and well-being with great guests and phenomenal stories. You'll hear hints, tips, and up-to-the-minute information on digital communication from an expert in her field. Pearl has some wonderful individuals in her networks, and she will be interviewing them all at some point in the future. Enjoy your listening.
Hello and welcome to the Pearls of Wisdom podcast. And today I am so lucky to have a wonderful lady as a guest on my podcast. I've known Amanda Joy for only a short while. We are both presenters on Serenity Radio. You can catch her show, which is Wednesday Wellbeing at 8 p.m. every Wednesday on Serenity Radio. But today she's thankfully said, yes, she will be my guest on the podcast. So I would like to introduce you to Amanda Joy, Director of the Northern College of Clinical Hypnotherapy. Welcome, Amanda.
Yay, so lovely to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me on your show. It's like lovely to be interviewed as opposed to be the interviewer.
I'm so looking forward to
thank you.
I do have some big boots to fill though. This lady is a phenomenal interviewer. So being the other side, I've really got to work hard because you are brilliant at what you do.
Oh, thank you, Pearl. Don't ask me too many difficult questions.
Right, I will jump straight in. And first of all, Amanda, can you describe your career path to date, please?
Oh, well, do you know what? It's been really diverse and quite fascinating. So I started off really over 20 years ago now, nursing and working in care work. I worked within the NHS, and I worked taking care of and looking after people who were quadriplegic and ventilated. So they were paralysed from the neck down and also needed some assistance with breathing. And I worked out on the community in North Yorkshire, so sort of Midland, Massam, in the Dales area. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous part of the world. A lot of people there are absolutely fascinated and really into horse riding. So there are, sadly, some of the side effects of horse riding can be that people have accidents. Motorcycling is also really popular in that area. So lots of people who have survived horse riding accidents or motorcycling accidents, as well as a multitude of other things, but it's left them with a completely different life, a life where they don't have a body that can walk and move around, and where they needed to have support from machinery to help them to breathe. So that was kind of the start of my career. And then I trained in traditional Chinese medicine, trained in Reiki and energy medicine, and had this whole, because I came from this very Western background where anything to do with kind of energy healing was just weird and witchcraft. And then I saw it. I saw the power of it and the benefits that my patients got from it, and decided that I wanted to know more, and then got completely hooked. Started working in traditional Chinese medicine, and then I realized that actually the power of the mind and, you know, what we believe and how we feel about things has such a dramatic impact on how we respond and react and move around the world, that I really wanted to get into studying the mind. So I went back to being a student. I'm a forever student, addicted learner. And I studied psychology at King's College in Aberdeen. I did counselling psychology, and I got a degree in psychology at a university in Edinburgh. And then I went off traveling for a little while as well. I missed out a few a few things that I did. So as I was doing all of these things, I was also training in different modalities of energy work and massage work as well. But then after I'd graduated from uni, I think it was because I'd lived in Scotland for quite a long time, and I really wanted some sunshine. So I got a map out of the world and just closed my eyes and just did a little swirl with my finger, and then wherever my finger landed, that's where I went. So I ended up in Spain for a little while. That became my home for quite a few years. And I visited lots of different places, in Africa and then in different parts of Europe. And then my work and my travels took me to Asia and then finally to the Middle East. And I lived in Saudi Arabia for a little while. So whilst I was out in Saudi, I was teaching. I went out to work as a part of a fantastic project, which was to empower and educate women. And we opened colleges right throughout Saudi. The most amazing buildings. There were incredible locations that the king of Saudi Arabia had helped to put all this into action. It was very exciting. And so I went out to teach kind of health and social care, but ended up teaching English as a foreign language as well, because a lot of my students, when they came to college, had never even been inside a building before, because a lot of them were sort of Bedouin girls, and they lived in tents in the desert, or they lived in kind of, buildings, but more kind of basic kind of buildings. So they hadn't been in a building that was quite like the one that we were teaching from. And so I travelled and taught in different colleges in Saudi Arabia. And during all of the time that I was traveling, I was able to really see like folk medicine in its natural environment. I saw people carrying out these amazing healing modalities, that were very much part of their culture. And I learned a lot and studied a little bit whilst I was there, and then came back to the UK and upped my qualifications and started working as a therapist. And just this last year opened up the Northern College of Clinical Hypnotherapy. I just feel like over the years I've had so many different experiences, and when I started to kind of like pull them all together, I was like, I need to teach this stuff to people, because so many people out there who need support with mental well-being, who need support or guidance in lots of different ways. And I knew these things had worked so well for me, so wanted to share them with the world, Pearl. I want to share it with the world, because this stuff that we do and teach is so powerful and so amazing. Like literally on a daily basis, I kind of have these wow moments where I just go, wow, that worked. That was amazing. And people kind of report back how, their lives have changed or transformed. I do a lot of natural fertility work, and I love that because there's a tangible outcome. There's usually a pregnancy and quite often a baby as well. So it's always really exciting to be a part of such a beautiful journey to help people to create their own families as well. So it's a beautiful, rewarding job, and I wanted to share that with others. So set up the Northern College of Clinical Hypnotherapy. And I've probably missed out loads of bits there, but that's more or less my journey. It's quite diverse. Nursing, teaching, massage, energy work, traditional Chinese medicine, folk medicines, travelling, teaching and learning, and finally becoming a teacher of clinical hypnotherapy.
But this is so wonderful. And to the listeners, I always talk about the energy on the interviews, and the energy that you're giving and to the listeners is just brilliant. I've got goosebumps going up my arms already. So this is going to be a fantastic interview. And there's so much, you bring so much to everything you do. And it's great.
I love everything I do. I think that's what it is. I kind of have this rule. I think because I lived in Saudi, and because I lived in a world where I saw a lot of restrictions, and where I lived by quite a lot of restrictions. When I came back to the UK, where we didn't have so many restrictions, I just wanted to really live the life that I was meant to live. I wanted to follow my divine calling, and I really feel like using my voice, sharing, teaching is what I'm here for. And when you do the thing that you're here to do, you get excited every day, you jump out of bed in the morning, you feel goosebumps about things. When you love it and you're passionate about it, it's not hard to promote or to send out positive energy to the things that you love. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, and I don't think anyone can dispute that. When you share, your voice is full of the joy, the happiness and the love and the passion of what you do, which is so great. And the listeners, this is going to be a very, very special interview. There's so much information. And I did forget to say, you need your pad and your pen, because you're going to get so much information here. So much information. Now, Amanda, I'm going to move on and see, you might have covered it a bit in your introduction, but can you name 3 things that made you choose your current career and why?
Well, I think the first thing was really a moment that occurred when I was working all them years ago, caring on the community and taking care of some of my patients that were quadriplegic and ventilated. And many of my patients, although they were paralysed and there were no sort of signals about sensation, no sensation signals kind of communicating with the brain, if you like, a lot of my patients struggled with neurological pain. So what we knew as neurological pain then was pain that patients tell us about, but we really don't know why they're having these pain. We also have all sorts of really interesting sensations in the body. Even though we were paralysed, I worked with a gentleman who absolutely convinced he had a £10 note in his top pocket, and he really didn't. But he was absolutely convinced, and he could feel it. And it was like, when you're on your way to the airport and you're on holiday and you think, have I got everything? I'm sure I've forgotten something, and you do that passport check about 1,000 times. Yeah. That was the permanent state that he was in, because he just kept feeling that this was there, and he knew it wasn't, but he just had this really uncomfortable feeling all the time, and it drove him mad. So I got him up one day and got him dressed and put a £10 note in his top pocket. And I said, "Oh, look, you got a £10 note in your top pocket, all right." And then we removed it and put it in his wallet, and it really helped. And it got me thinking about what's going on in his mind when that's happening. But one of my patients had really horrific pain. He described it to me as being stabbed with burning hot pokers on his chest area. I can't think of anything worse than being stabbed in the chest with burning hot pokers. That sounds horrific. And that was how he described the sensations that he was feeling. So, of course, we wanted to give this man pain relief. Absolutely, that was what we wanted to do. My job was to care for him. Wanted him to have a lovely life, so wanted to give him pain medication. So we prescribed him opiate based medications, and he started off on a little bit, and then we increased and one day when he was expressing that he was really uncomfortable and just feeling totally exhausted with this constant sensation of pain that he was having, he said I said, "Oh, I'll go get you some extra pain medication. I'll go get you some more of these opiates that we're giving you." And he said, "When you give me that extra medication, it doesn't take my pain away. It just stops me from being able to tell you that I'm in pain." And I was like, whoa, this is not why I came into care work. Excuse me, I've got a tickle. Excuse me. So, I came into care work because I wanted to support people. And he'd been through such a great deal of loss anyway, and was, had to completely change his whole life, his work, his lifestyle, every single aspect of his life had been impacted by this injury that he had. So to think that this guy who was in this completely new life that he was now having to live in, and potentially grieving as well for a life that he'd lost, was experiencing pain, and that the pain medication just shut him up. I felt like I was putting him in a gag. And, you know, when your body doesn't work, you only really have your voice. And when that voice, you know, when he voiced to me that he felt pain, I had to do something. So that's kind of when I started looking into what we used to call alternative medicine. We now know it's more integrative medicine, because, you know, the medical systems that we use, the holistic modalities that we provide, have a whole different way of looking at the body. It's a whole different medical system. It's holistic, and you know, whereas Western medicine has this really kind of narrow view and addresses what's going on mechanically. Holistic therapy looks at whole body things. But I just thought it were witchcraft, Pearl. I just thought it were weird, and so I guess that was the first moment when I had that conversation, and it shook me. I went home and had a very large gin and tonic and cried that night quite a lot, because I was so mortified by it. And then I think the second moment was when there was a lady in the local town who worked in the bank, who was also a healer. And somebody had said, give her a try, let's get her in and see what happens. I was like, you're really, really skeptical about this lady who worked in the bank who was a healer. Come on, who is this? What's this all about? Anyway, she came and I was there because I wanted to find out what she was doing. And what she was doing was Reiki. And she placed her hands on the head of this patient, same patient who'd told me about this stabbing pain in his chest. And you could see he was in pain with his facial features. You could see the tension in the facial muscles that were, you know, you could see he was uncomfortable. And she put her hands on his head, and the pain just drained out of his face. His facial muscles softened. He smiled. He looked calm and tranquil. He drifted off into a blissful sleep, you know, a really restorative sleep that he hadn't had for a really long time. And he was completely pain-free for about 3 days afterwards. And I was like, what is this witchcraft? What is this weirdness? What is it that she did? So we invited her back to come again. And, you know, I watched with complete fascination, and then had a conversation with her about it. And she explained to me that it's universal life force energy, it's natural energy that's all around us, and that she's like this channel or a vessel that draws the energy through her and into the client. And I was like, that sounds like really weird, but you know, I'm interested. So she actually put her hands on me and gave me some healing as well. And she said, oh, Amanda, I think that you're a healer. I think you've got something about you. And I was like, I'm going to go learn this. I'm going to go learn this. I'm going to go learn how to do this stuff. And I went, it was quite unusual, was Reiki at the time. So I had to go down to Nottingham, which was, I was living in Yorkshire, so it was quite a trek. Went down to Nottingham, and I worked with a guy who was a Reiki master called Barry Mapp. And I particularly chose him because he had a very scientific background, and we worked with energy in a kind of very scientific way. And because I struggled with the woo-woo side, the witchy woo-woo side of things, I wanted somebody who could kind of like explain the science of healing. And he did that so incredibly well. And I did my first Reiki attunement with him. And that was, I guess, the next kind of transformational moment, my third transformational moment, where I just discovered energy. I started feeling energy. I was tuning into things that perhaps I'd felt as a kid, but dismissed them as my imagination. And, you know, I fell in love with energy medicine, then went on to study traditional Chinese medicine, massage, and all different other healing modalities. And then that led me again into psychology and hypnotherapy. So, yeah, those 3 moments, listening to that guy, that conversation that shook my world, experiencing Reiki for the first time and the power of energy medicine, like learning about energy medicine and how transformational it can be, just projected my life in a completely new direction. And it's been a fantastic journey.
And just listening to your journey, you take us with you because of that passion, and to go through and what your patients must have been going through, and to find an alternative way to take their pain away.
It was amazing. And we worked using NLP, which was the seed that was planted around neurolinguistical programming and hypnotherapy. That's where that started. So really, the NHS, with my beginnings of my career as, working in care work and nursing, was what, I'm looking for something that was more effective than just giving out loads and loads of medication. That was really where it all started for me. Yeah.
So this is wonderful. It really is. And I mean, you might have touched on some of this in your first 2 answers, but what are the key values does your business offer you, Amanda?
What key values does my business offer me?
Or now, what a lot of people are saying, where I've done that, also, what do you offer your client? Because it could be both ways, because it's slightly different what it offers you and what you offer your client.
Well, for me, studying this stuff and learning about all of this stuff has been an absolutely transformational process for me. I studied the mind, and I studied psychology. One of the research projects I did whilst I was at Edinburgh was I looked at the perceived health benefits of mindfulness, and learned all about this stuff. I travelled all over the world and to different temples and different things, and I experienced a lot of this stuff and I learned a lot of this stuff. But if I'm honest, I didn't apply any of it to my life. None of it, Bill. I was quite stressed. I was quite anxious. I smoked a lot. I drank a lot. I partied a lot. I still love a party, Pearl. I'm still a bit of a party animal. That kind of whole party lifestyle really span out of control. And, I ended up on lots and lots of pain medication myself. I ended up where I, when I woke up in the morning, it was like there was misery waiting for me, and I didn't jump into my day with joy. I really didn't.
Yeah.
And I had this, I guess you could call it an awakening moment, where I realised that all of this information that I had, I maybe should start applying it to my own life. So I started with a daily meditation practice, and that helped me to feel more calm and more relaxed and more confident to be me. Yep. And then as I've learned these incredibly powerful hypnotherapeutic techniques, I also had all the therapy myself. So I did a lot of inner child work and healed aspects of myself. I did a lot of parts therapy, where I really chatted. I had a right good conversation with the bits of me that were limiting me in ways, the bits of me that were reaching for substances, the bits of me that were searching out these things. I always felt like I was always looking for the next thing, the next adventure, the next big high. And I realised that it didn't matter where I went in the world or all of the exciting adventures that I had, I was still going to be searching, because there was something not right within me. This learning to be a therapist provided so many healing tools for me that I was able to apply to my life, to learn to just be in one place, to learn to just be me, and to be grateful for where I am. And so it was been quite a transformation. I also learned hypnotherapy for weight management issues. I had a real issue with sugar. In fact, I had a real issue with peanut M&Ms. I blooming love them things, little bright colours of joy all over my house in little sparkly crystal balls. I tell you what, I was eating a bag a day. I was really had a really bad relationship with sugar and peanut M&Ms, and so obviously I learned about all of these amazing techniques, and I went to see a colleague who I'd trained with, and I said, look, I can't sell this because I'm a size 28 and I look horrible and I feel horrible, and can you like have a go with me? And the first thing we did in the first session was to deal with the peanut M&M thing. And I'm a bit of a rebel, to be honest, and I'm a doubter and a questioner too. I question everything, and I think that's my nursing and me Western background creeping in there a little bit. But I love peer-reviewed research. I like to know it's all been researched. And so the minute I finished the hypnotherapy session, I went straight to Asda and I bought some peanut M&Ms, and I was thinking, this doesn't work. This is just another thing that I've tried. I tried everything, Weight Watchers, Slimming World, all different slimming groups, drinks, milkshakes, tablets for breakfast, crucifying, torturous exercise regimes. Everything just damaged me, and I might have like reduced my body shape and size a bit, but then I would soon go back to how I was before, if not even more so. Anyway, so I bought these peanut M&Ms, and because I am who I am, I couldn't even wait to get home to eat them. So I sat in the car and I pulled out it was a red one, and I put it in my mouth. Oh my goodness me. It was like I had a reality check on this, what it really was. So the kind of the red colour coating tasted of nasty chemicals. And as I'm telling you about it, I'm remembering how it tastes. I'm screwing my face up. It were awful. Like, just toxic. It just tasted toxic. It was horrible. But because I am who I am, I persevered. And I got to the sugary bit. And when I got to the sugary bit, it was like the amount of sugar that was in it was burning the inside of my mouth. It was burning the back of my throat. It was horrible. When I got to the chocolatey bit, it was like earwax. I know that's a bit grim to think about, but it's the only thing I could think of that would describe the sensations and the feelings that were happening as I was eating this peanut M&M. When I got to the middle bit, I discovered I quite liked the peanut. So I switched up my peanut M&Ms for lots of lovely fruits and berries, and I switched it up for lots of, sunflower seeds and other kind of nutty kind of treats. And what a difference just that small transformation, that small change made for me. And I'm still a work in progress. I'm about a size 16, 18 depending on where I shop now, but I'm still reducing. I know everyone's been talking about gaining lockdown weight. I really haven't. In fact, during lockdown, it's given me the opportunity to do a gut reset and heal my gut. And I've really enjoyed having some time to be able to cook lots of brightly coloured, energizing food. So just learning these techniques helps me transform psychologically and physically as well, So for me, it was a big transformational process. For my clients, I've already spoke a little bit about some of the successes and the incredible transformations I see on a daily basis. And for my students, I get to share this with them. I get to share my passion with them. And I get to start seeing them seeing these miraculous transformations is all I can really describe them. These tiny little things. It might just be peanut M&Ms. It might just be a cigarette. It might just be that you're drinking too much. It might be that you're a bit stressed out more than you want to be. But when you tweak your life, and when you have that conversation with your subconscious mind, which is so powerful. I mean, it's only 20% of us is conscious. 80% is subconscious. And hypnotherapy has this incredibly beautiful, powerful conversation with the subconscious mind. And if there was going to be a fight between the conscious and the subconscious, the subconscious would win every time. And that's Amazon delivering me something just now. I'm really sorry. Do you mind if I just go and get the door?
By all means.
Oh, transformation for me, for my clients, and just absolute joy of sharing those incredible techniques and tools with my students, and now seeing them, just loving and enjoying helping and supporting other people as well in their lives.
I mean, everything.
There you go. What's the value in that? Incredible.
Oh, so much. I mean, most people that listen to my show and know me, I'm going to say the S word, the synchronicities, and everything that you've mentioned there. When you said about the inner child, just this last week, the messages I'm getting through from my guides and everything, I have to do inner child work, which I thought I'm so in flow, everything's working properly, but there's a few things that it's showing me, yes, I need to look at that. And where you say about being in lockdown and putting on weight, like you, I've lost 1.5 stone during lockdown because I've looked at myself, I've looked at my business, and because I'm happy in what I'm doing and I'm busy, I'm not comfort eating.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, yes, when lockdown first started and the COVID word was mentioned, I was terrified. I'm the first to admit. I mean, the family were making fun of me because I got very scared. But I'm type 2 diabetic. It's me and my dad, who's mid-80s at home. So therefore, we were told we needed to self-isolate and everything. And Dad kept saying, I've lived through wars. I'm okay. If I'm going to catch it, it doesn't matter. And I'm thinking, Dad, if you catch it, I'm going to catch it. And I don't want, I mean, we're both radio presenters. And we speak a lot, and I'm finding I get a cough, and I've had to ask people that use their voice a lot, how do you look after your voice? Because when I first started getting these coughs, you look at the symptoms, start to think, and I was terrified, and I'm thinking, but I haven't been out, I haven't done anything. And yes, you can get a cough, you can get an irritation of your throat. And because we speak so much.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
Sorry, and that was my Siri going off.
She's always listening.
When you say to look after your voice and all these things you're saying, it's just wonderful. It's everything you've said, the synchronicities. And I can see so much of it. And I think, yes, this is why you and I connect.
Well, for my voice, because I'm the same as you, I talk a lot, Pearl, and I found that I get little croaky moments and tickly moments and cough moments. I do drink quite a lot of water and made sure that I'm well lubricated. But I've been working with a lady called Marnie, who's based up here in Newcastle, and she teaches mantra singing, and I've been doing a lot of sort of singing activities and exercises, and scales and breathing and the mantras that she teaches are just gorgeous. So I do a bit of a mantra meditation in the mornings, and I find that actually it's a lovely way to wake up. The birds sing first thing in the morning, why can't I? So probably don't sound quite as nice as they do, but get up and sing in the morning and do some mantra stuff, and I found that's really helpful for my voice. There we go.
And that's where, I mean, everyone says when they hear my name, Pearl, they remember the Elkie Brooks song, Pearl's a Singer. Now, I can't sing. I am completely tone deaf. And if I do sing, I always say it rains. And just popping in. My daughter, my children are both grown up now. They're both in their 20s. When my daughter started infant school, because she'd heard and the family had always said, Mummy doesn't sing because it rains. She came back and she said, Mummy, she said, it rained, but in assembly, I didn't sing, Mummy. And I thought, what am I teaching my children?
Well, the one thing that Marnie talks about is about that it doesn't matter how you sound. It's about the benefits that you get from the action. And you can sing in the bath, you can sing in the shower, you can sing by yourself if you're not comfortable in front of other people. But singing that causes rain, Pearl. Send you out to Saudi. They'd love you out there. They love the rain out there. I remember one day I was teaching and it started raining and all my students leapt up out of the seats. I was like, what's going on? And they ran over to the windows and threw the windows open and they stuck their hands out and they were all feeling the rain on their hand and they were like, teacher, it's raining. And I was like, yeah, I'm English. I'm not very excited by the rain. But to them it was like really, really exciting. So yeah, they could be working that for you, Pearl. Get singing.
Oh, that is absolutely brilliant. I'm going to move on to the next question, says she, and her voice is croaking.
Right there, right now, croaky.
Now, Amanda, can you tell me what keeps you awake at night, if anything?
Oh, do you know what? I'm a right good sleeper. Nothing keeps me awake at night, to be honest. Like once I've I tend to have a bit of a bedtime routine of switching things off, because if I get stuck into a Netflix series, I've had it.
Yeah.
Because I just watch one after the other, and I'll be up all night watching. So maybe Netflix is stops me from sleeping. Usually, I'm quite disciplined, and I have a time where I switch off my phone, switch off the telly, plug everything in on charge, so it's all getting ready for the morning, and then I have a little moment at the end of every day where I just reflect on the day and I think about all of the things that I always start with somewhat positive. So I always think about all the things in the day that have happened that I'm really grateful for. And it's lovely just to remember back to those little moments. Otherwise we drift through the day and we don't even really kind of like have those moments where you go, oh, do you know what? That was such a fab conversation, or that was just a lovely moment. And I love just reflecting on the things that have happened during the day that I'm just really grateful for. And then I'll have a little bit of I call it an inventory, where I'll be like, right, so, like when you're doing an inventory in your shop, you'll have a little walk around and anything that's not selling, you take it off the shelf and you do a discount price on it, you get rid of it. Or anything that's working really well, you get more of so you can sell it. So I do a bit of an inventory on myself. And I kind of think, was there anything today that I could have done better? Was there anything today that didn't work well? Did I lose my temper? Did I get frustrated? Was I a bit too tired? Do I need to up my self-care a little bit? And I just do like a little inventory on how was your day? How did it work? Did I manage to get everything done that I wanted to do? Do I need to schedule some more time to do some other things, So I really kind of like do this. Yeah, it's a full-scale inventory as well, and just make notes on that and make changes that perhaps need to be changed. I always joke I'm a tweaker, tweak things. I always say I'm a tweaker, not a twerker. But have a little tweak of how I'm doing things if that's what I need to do. And then I usually just have a little bit of quiet contemplation time, even if it's just, sometimes it's just 3 to 5 minutes of just breathing and just feeling me, in my body, being me. And, I sometimes have a little thing that I kind of say to myself, which is, have you got God in your day? And I'm not saying like the Christian God that we might know, or any of the other kind of gods that we know about. My God is, the G stands for for giving. Who did I give to today? Did I give well? The O stands for oneness. Who did I connect with today? Who did I have that oneness, that lovely connection with? And the D is divine calling. And the D stands for what did I do today to follow my journey in my path? And I just have a little contemplation with God and have that time. And sometimes I do pray a little bit as well if things have, if people are sick or if there's things that I'm worried about. And prayer for me is about handing it over to an energy or a higher power so that I don't have to carry it with me. I can hand it over. I learned that actually when I was out in Saudi, because that's what they do when they pray. They hand over their worries to God. And I love that because they don't have to carry it around. You don't have to carry a bag full of rocks on your back. Like, you don't have to carry your burdens. You can put them down. So I just have a moment like that. And I find that after I've done that, I'm ready for sleep. Sleep blissfully. And and sometimes they have some right way dreams, but I think that's just because maybe I had a dream about meat the other night, and I don't even really eat meat, so that's weird. I wondered if it was because I'd watched Lady Gaga on YouTube, but I was like, what's this dream? Why are you dreaming about meat? What's that? Oh, that's weird. But no, I sleep really well.
And this again reflects the guests that I've had on the show that have found their divine calling, that are actually doing what they feel called to do. They all sleep well. They all sleep well. I mean, that question probably came from my corporate background, where I used to ask the CEOs, what keeps you awake at night? And they go into some strategy that they need to put into place. But more and more with my spiritual guests, it's lovely to hear. And again, synchronicities, I have a process that I put in place when I go to sleep. I have meditations that I do before I sleep. And yes, I've got a bit of a Netflix fetish as well, though I have started Disney Plus because I like my Marvel films. So every now and again, it's a choice of that. So it's seeing, and depending on what I'm watching, I think, no, turn that off. And because I'm a techie geek, I have every device known to man. And that maybe sounds completely wrong, but you know roughly what I mean. And so, yes, I have to teach myself to turn certain things off and not use them. But doing the meditation, and I have a YouTube playlist that I've pulled together that I play throughout the night. I did try with headphones and I couldn't sleep no matter what I tried. I tried all these.
No, they're not right comfy on your head.
No. So I've got to say, my iPad goes under the pillow and that's it. I just turn it on and that's it. I fall asleep. And normally I don't get any further than the second thing on the playlist because I'm out. But your subconscious is picking all those things up. And where I'm quite new on the journey, I always talk to my guides beforehand and say, give me the download, show me what I need to do. And when you say about being grateful, I think the first one of my Serenity shows, I actually spoke about journaling. And I've got an app on my phone and it's the 5-minute journal. And it says you write something at the beginning of the day and you write something at the end. And the last thing it asks you is what would you change about the day? And I'd say probably since the beginning, probably mid-May onwards, every single day I can write nothing. My day was perfect. And that makes such a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. I always say start the day with a please. Set your affirmations. Please can I have, put your shopping list in for the day to the world. Please can I feel good. Please can I share joy. Please can I help someone today. Please can I have a day of enjoyment. So I say please in the morning and then I say thank you at the end of the day. P's and Q's. My mother taught me that. Don't forget your P's and Q's.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. I mean, and this is me, and probably I shouldn't share it, but I'm going to anyway. I say please and thank you to Alexa, and my family laugh at me. And I say, no, you're supposed to. I said, this is artificial intelligence. You are supposed to train these things to know manners. Otherwise, people are growing up with no manners. So when I ask Alexa, and I apologise, listeners, if I'm setting anything off, when I ask what the weather's going to be like and I get the response, I say, thank you, Alexa. And I get back, you're welcome, or have a nice day. And all my family just look at me as if I'm completely nuts, which I probably am. But it's learning. I have these conversations. Now, Siri doesn't answer me like that. As we heard earlier on the interview, she just comes up.
She just jumps in.
Yes.
She just interrupts. Bit like the Amazon delivery. Oh, brilliant.
I will move on to the next question, but this is brilliant. Pure gold dust, it really is. Right, Amanda, you might have touched on this, but where and how do you work best?
Well, I've just had to completely change how I work. So it's really different. So normally I work in a clinic environment. I work in a sort of multidisciplinary practice with acupuncturists and integrative medical practitioners and amazing therapists. And I usually see people in an office space where I've got my couch and I've got all of my equipment and everything that I need. And I love working in that kind of space where I can work one-to-one. But obviously we've not been able to do that. So I've totally changed how I work, and I now work pretty much online like this. Yeah. And I love it. I think when you're talking about how do you work best or where do you work best, I think how I work best is a more kind of important question for me. I need to make sure I'm well rested, I'm well nourished. I need to have had my breakfast, otherwise I get hangry. You know, I like my good coffee in the morning as well. That's important. I talk about a lot my spiritual breakfast. That's my please bit in the morning. I need to have a time in the morning where I kind of, I feed my mind. You know, we get up, don't we? And for a lot of us, we have these horrible, funny tasting green milkshakey type healthy superfood drinks because we want to nourish our bodies, but then we're straight into watching the news, looking on social media, and it's like, well, what's that feeding your mind with? So I have this feed my body, feed my mind thing that I have going on in the morning where I have my supplements and I have my healthy breakfasts and I enjoy all the bright coloured foods and all that, and then I feed my mind. So I call it my spiritual breakfast. And it might be that I just read something. I just got a new book called Gifts of the Rain Puddle, and it's little poems and meditations and reflections for the mindful soul, and it's gorgeous. So I might just randomly open the page and see what it says. So this one today is enjoy the little things, for one day we may look back and realise those were actually the big things. And I go, oh, that's lovely. So I have my spiritual breakfast in the morning, feed my mind with what's good for me so that I'm healthy mentally. I'm healthy I'm on my spiritual path on my day, as well as kind of just nourishing my body. So if I miss out that kind of step in the day, I don't tend to function so well, and I've learned that. So it's something that it's become part of my habit. What is it called? Do I say PRM? RPM? Rise, pee and meditate. Get out of bed, go for a wee, sit on my meditation cushion, you know, and I feed my brain with something positivity. I feed my mind with something helpful, constructive, inspiring, whatever it is that I might happen to do. And I try all different things. I read all different things, and you know, I need that in the morning for me. So where do I work best and how do I work best? I work best when I'm in a good condition. I work online. I love doing that. I'm really enjoying that. And I love working in collaboration with other people. absolutely love it. You know, one of the things I learned through living out in the Middle East, I went out to empower women, but they really empowered me, was the idea of sisterhood and brotherhood. The idea of raising each other up in the world. There's no such thing as competition. We're all going to draw to us people who we need. And, you know, I love working in collaboration with other people, nutritionalists, you know, PTs, other healers, shamanic people who do all sorts of people. I love working in collaboration with other people. I find that they inspire me, they teach me, I learn things, and that kind of like keeps me fuel in my rocket, keeps me fired up, keeps me passionate about what I'm doing. So, yeah.
And that is perfect. And yes, again, the synchronicities, I've got into the habit. First thing I do in the morning is my meditation. And I've got an area, but I literally take half the pillows off my bed, and that's my meditation cushions. And I sit there, and I think, again, from Serenity, people might have heard me mention Lenka Lutonska a few times, and I've just recently shared one of those meditations. You can actually...
I listened to that one. I loved it. It was gorgeous. Just so healing.
I listen to that every morning, and that's where I get my downloads. And this is where I talked about my Marvel, when I do Captain Marvel, the Marvel universe, where I do all these different things. But I do, when you listen to the Lenka meditation and you call in your customers, your soul aligned clients, and you call in your tribe, when you do that every day, and I've been doing that every day for months and months and months now, I don't vary. My morning meditation is the same every time. And literally the downloads I get from my guides and the connections, I literally come out of that. And when I do open my social media, I will have connections from LinkedIn, connections from Facebook. And it's really strange, the people that are reaching out and connecting with me. And I think, yes, that's the meditation. And I'm getting goosebumps as I'm talking about it. And it is.
Yeah. And, you know, science is really, you know, for years we've been talking about how the power of affirmations, and we've been talking about the power of the tools and techniques that we use and all these different healing modalities. But we're really seeing with the advancement in neuroscience now, we're really seeing that, you know, what goes on in the mind, what's going on in your brain when we're doing these things. And, you know, just looking at how neurons communicate and how new neural pathways are created and old ones that maybe aren't serving us can be broken down. And we talk a lot about action potentials. That's what's happening in the neuron when they're communicating with each other. They're having an action potential. It might be a chemical conversation that they're having with each other, or it might be an electric conversation that they're having with each other. But our thoughts trigger those action potentials. Our thoughts trigger those communications. When we have that conversation with ourselves, with our subconscious mind in the morning, we actually change the structure of our brain. That blows me away, that does, because, you know, basically what we're saying is our beliefs become our biology. What our mind conceives, we can achieve. And that happens on a physical level. You know, our bodies change depending on, you know, what we're putting our power into, what we're putting our energy into, and what we're putting out, where we're putting our thoughts. So I'm always really cautious about, you know, what am I thinking, and how that's having an impact on my biology. Yep. It's incredible. I love that science and these holistic modalities that are meeting in their ways of thinking and understanding the body and what's going on in our brains and what's happening in our mind. It's an exciting time. It really is an exciting time.
It is. And I know people that follow some of the teaching that I give, where I look at law of attraction, everything you've said there, where I talk about raising the vibration. And so many people that come from a place where they're unhappy. They find law of attraction and they think it's just saying the affirmations and writing in their journal and then just waiting for something to happen. But if you don't change that vibration, so internally, like you're saying, those neurons and what's going out there, if you're coming from a place of lack and you've still got the work that needs to be done, law of attraction will not work, because you're only doing part of it, which is why so many people jump up and say, yes, I can teach you this, I can teach you that. You follow the basic habits that you can find anywhere, this work for you. And it's like you've said,
one of the areas on my course that I feel is really important, and what makes what I do slightly different to what other people do, is that I really support my students to bring their dreams, their vision into reality. And I do this by really having a system. I call it vision, architect and build. So the vision bit is what does that life that you want, what does that really look like? And when you step into that image, what does it feel like? Where are you? What do you look like? What kind of hair do have you got? What clothes are you wearing? What does life really look like? Can I get them to spend? And that's the fun bit in it, using your imagination to dream. I know I used to dream about winning the lottery a lot and what I would do with all that money. But when we dream, that's the fun bit. That's when we have the imagination. The imagination is how we communicate with the subconscious mind. The language of the conscious mind is verbal. The language of the subconscious mind is the imagination. So when we're imagining all of these things, we're laying down those neural pathways for it to really happen. So imagining what you really want and what you dream and what you desire actually starts to change your biology. But then there's got to be a build bit, hasn't there? There's got to be an architect bit where you need a blueprint, you need a plan. You need to plan your time, you need to plan who you want to work with, you need to plan which direction you're going to go in, and you need to think about all the things that you now need to have in place to make your vision happen. You might need a website, you might need some training, you might need to work with some limiting beliefs. Whatever it is, you become the architect of your vision. And then there's the build bit, and that's where you just do it. You sit down in front of your computer and you do the work, you create the PDFs, you make the videos, you make the audios, you reach out and you talk to people about who you are and what you can do to help them. So vision, architect and build is kind of my marketing strategy that I share with my students, and it's so exciting to see them doing it and bringing their visions into reality. They're creating. We are the creators of our world, and we are the creators of the world that we live in, and we can do that simply by changing the way that we think. But you're right, you have to be the architect of that, and you have to build it too. So there you go. That's
it is. And I couldn't agree more.
Attraction.
And this is where so many people can see when they're in flow and they love what they do and their passion comes through, it's so much easier. But where they talk about the universal vacuum, so you almost get rid of the stuff you need to have to do work on, and then the universe will fill it with that high vibration of what it is you want to attract in. But that's the gap that so many people leave out, where you have to put work in as well. You have to have the passion. It isn't just, you just say, right, I want this, I want this, I want this. And I know as a child, I was always taught I want doesn't get, because you just all this and you're not.
Yeah, that's right. I want doesn't get. My mum used to say that to me as well. You say please. So much wisdom,
isn't it? Oh, right. Right, I will move on, because this brilliant interview, and I know that the listeners are going to be loving this. What tools, Amanda, do you use that makes your work life easier?
Oh, I'm a right scheduler everything's in my diary. I've got an electronic schedule. But, you know, within that schedule, I schedule time for walks, I schedule times to go. I live by the beach. I needed to be by the water. I believe that I'm a bit of an empath and an energy intuitive, and I feel like I need to be by water. So I live by the seaside. I like to get down by the beach. Meditation, obviously, and, you know, at the beginning and the end of every day are really important tools for me. What other tools what was the question again? Just say it again for me. What other tools do I
use that makes your work life easier?
Yeah, scheduling. Scheduling is a big one. Planning my time. Do you know what's been a really interesting thing as well for me? Learning how to say no.
Yeah.
No is a full and complete answer. Yes. You can say no and you don't have to explain yourself. And as particularly when I was doing care work and nursing, you know, the pressure that's on you to do more and more and more and more and more because they're so short-staffed and everything's a bit lacking. They're like, Amanda, can you please come in and do? No, just no. No is a full and complete answer. So learning to say no has been really powerful for me. I guess it's about putting really, really good boundaries in place and being quite clear. But if you walked around my house, you'd think I was mad. I have these big white boards they're plastic, and you can stick them to your wall and you can wash them down and move them around, and they're amazing. And I have my vision and my architect and my build kind of plan in its basicness on the wall. I have my affirmations written up on the wall. I have the things that I want to bring into my life every day: playfulness and joy and creativity. They're all up there. And throughout the day, I'm like, have I had a moment today where I've had a bit of creativity or a bit of spontaneity, or I've connected? So for me, I'm all about lists. I like a list. I like a plan. And you know, I monitor how I'm doing throughout the day as well, so that I can be flexible with myself. If I have a plan, but I can go off plan at any time I want.
Yep. I absolutely
be some flexibility.
Yes.
And learn how to say no.
That's something I need to learn to say more, because it's almost in your nature to say yes, especially when you start your first business and you're trying to engage new customers, new clients, new students, whatever.
Yeah.
You're in constant yes mode because you're being all the positive and everything, and then suddenly it goes back to what we were saying about having sleep and looking after yourself and nurturing yourself. You need to learn to have.
Well, I think as part of our personalities, Pearl, because we're quite nurturing, caring people, and we really want to help people, don't we? That's kind of what we want to do. And I didn't used to be comfortable with confrontation. I don't like confrontation. I don't like saying no, but there's an aspect of me that was all about people pleasing. Just keep everybody happy. Just keep everybody on your side. Everybody's got to like me all the time. And it's all about people pleasing. Actually, when you're in that mode and you're people pleasing, it's so exhausting. It takes all your energy. And so I learned that people pleasing wasn't a healthy aspect of myself. And, you know, my people pleasing was coming from a place of fear about being alone. You know, I didn't want to be alone. I didn't want people to not, I want people to like me, you know, and that fear of isolation, that fear of being alone was causing me to people please too much. And it was causing me to lose my energy, like waste my energy on things that perhaps I really didn't need to be putting my nurturing energy, my love energy, my focus into those areas. You know, I maybe just needed to take a step back and say no.
Yeah.
So yeah, that people pleasing, a lot of us do it, and a lot of people who are in kind of the caring profession do it because we want people to feel good. That's what we do for. But there needs to be a real balance, and it was an area that I had to work on within myself as part of my growth and development.
And also you find on the business side, you're taught to attract your ideal tribe, your ideal client, who your customer should be. And if we're constantly out there helping everyone, yes, you might attract lots and lots of people to you, but are they going to be the people that you really need to work with, that want and need the services you can offer? And that's quite a learning curve, like you say. For empaths, for those that like to nurture and constantly give, it's learning boundaries again and actually seeing that you're there and you have the energy to share with those that really need it and really connect with you. But that again is quite a learning.
Yeah. And that kind of healthy kind of giving, it feels like a flow because we're all one, because we are all connected, and I really believe we're a reflection of each other. We are all connected. We are all one. Whenever you do give to others, and it's in that kind of healthy, balanced place, you receive at the same time, and there's this beautiful balance of flow of giving and receiving. You know, I give love, I receive love, I give support, I get support. And, you know, when you're in that right place, that's how it feels. It feels like a beautiful flow, like you're mirroring this loveliness back and forth at yourself. But yeah, it's definitely something that I think we all as empaths have to continue to check in on and work with, you know, work on. Like, we are works in progress, aren't we? So it's something that just, you know, just remind yourself, you know, am I in flow? Am I in this place? Or am I perhaps kind of like exhausting myself a little bit too much? And do I need to take a bit of time off today and just have a soak in the bath and watch a bit of Marvel, or your favourite Netflix series, or chat with your friends, or go out for dinner or something that feels nurturing to you? Because that's giving and receiving in other ways, isn't it? Giving to yourself means that you give to others in a more effective way, because it goes the other way as well, that flow.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And you saying that's just triggered a reminder, something I saw on my LinkedIn profile yesterday. I follow Mel Robbins, and I got into her from the Audible book 54321, where she takes action and that's it.
I love that.
She recorded a post of her in the bath in the middle of the day yesterday. And you could see, all right, there was lots of bubbles that were covering bits, obviously, so she was quite safe and everything. And she said, I was getting stressed. I had enough. I needed to rethink. And she actually went through the steps of what the bath was doing to lower the stress. And she said, if you can't do that, go out to nature, go for a walk, and it was just brilliant. And I thought, yes, the only other bath conversation I can remember, I do believe Madonna did a bath video at the beginning of COVID, but I don't think I watched it all, so maybe I shouldn't go there. But yes, these are the two people I remember actually doing a social media post from the bath. But it's a way to actually help you relax.
Yeah, I love a bath. I love a salt bath, and get my essential oils on the go, and get the candles on. And obviously I usually have Serenity Radio on in the background actually when I'm in the bath, because the music's lovely and the conversation's usually really inspiring. So yeah. But I don't let anyone in my bathroom or any cameras. That's my sacred space. I think she's very brave.
It came into my head, and I thought, right, I'm going to pop that in the discussion, because it's a way, yes, it makes you think. And again, it's seeing a woman without their makeup or anything. And that's quite a big jump as well. And it's showing that you feel happy in yourself, that you don't.
Yeah, absolutely. Comfortable in your skin.
Yes. Right, now I'm getting to my second longest question. So I have to take a great big deep breath when I ask this one.
Okay.
Amanda, what would you have done differently in your life if you'd known then what you know now?
Probably nothing, because all of the things that I've experienced, even the really tough things, and even when I made the worst choices and I made the wrong decisions, and we have hindsight, so where we look back and we go, oh, if I'd have just done that differently, if I'd have just said that, if I'd have just made that choice instead, things would have been so different. I don't have anything really that I would do different. Maybe I would have not drank as much alcohol, not dabbled with drugs so much in my teenage years. I think that kind of had a really negative impact and caused me to feel very anxious and quite unwell on times, on a more kind of, certainly on a physical level. I remember having horrific hangovers. Oh man, I used to get horrific hangover blues where I'd feel miserable for a couple of days afterwards, as well as feeling sick and nauseous. So I think probably I would have not dabbled with substances, but do you know what, all of those experiences and feeling that lost and that desperate and having all of those anxious moments, I then had to find solutions that worked for me, and because I know that they worked for me, that's given me such a belief in what I do, because I've found these tools and techniques that I share with people to be so effective. I also know they were effective because I used them on myself as well. So yeah, I might have. I was going to say I might not have partied hard, but I think I really loved the party, and I might just not have got so wasted at parties. But just nothing really. Everything that I've experienced, every moment, everything that anyone's ever said to me, anything that I've ever done, every place I've ever been has made me who I am today. And it's probably taken me a while to get here, but I like me. Yeah. I'm all right. I look in the mirror and I think I'm beautiful, and I look in the mirror and I say to myself that, today I'm going to bring some joy to people's lives, and I like that about myself. And if I catch myself saying out negative, I have to do some work on it. But I like me, and I'm only me because of all of those things that I've experienced, good and bad. So no, I do naught different. Bring me Yorkshire out there. I would do nothing different at all. Just keep it all the same.
And that is what's so wonderful. And again, that reflects very similar responses from all the wonderful guests I've had. And it's that learning curve. I mean, I know in my past, I always went for the bad boys, and they'd come back and back, and people would say to me, why? And I'd be saying, why do I always go back to them? And one very close friend just took me to one side and she says, because you damn well didn't learn the first time, so you've got
My mum used to always say, why do you have to learn the hard way? And I'd say, because I'm not interested in the easy way. I like the hard way. Embrace it. But,
it's beautiful to know, and you are such a beautiful, special lady, and that does
thank you, Pearl.
It's coming through. I mean, it's such a wonderful interview, and the listeners would know as well. It really is, and you're so inspiring. Everything that you've said, what you've gone through, and what you teach your clients, your students, their coping mechanisms, everything will help them grow in so many different areas, and that is what's so special for in so many ways.
Oh well, I really hope so, because it's so important for us to be professional in the way that we work, and part of that professionalism is to have support systems in place. It's to have times of supervision. It's to have the ability to be able to reflect on yourself and go, do you know what? I need to work on this, because we're all works in progress. And yes, we can't. I really don't believe that we can be effective in what we do if we don't have these strategies in place, if we don't have a network of support we can turn to, if we're not having some kind of growth experience ourselves. And sometimes when we're in that growth place, we feel lost and we feel despair and we feel hopeless and dreadful. But I like to remind my students that, when you're a seed, the best place for a seed, because you're in your seed, you're about to grow and perhaps become a beautiful plant and blossom and be an amazing flower. You might turn into a fabulous tree, whatever that seed's going to turn into. When you're in that seed moment, best place for you is in the dark, in the ground, covered in shit. Quite often, that's how life feels. And that's in the point where we're about to experience growth, where we're about to experience transformation, or when we're going through the very beginnings of a wonderful growth experience. And then there's all the growing pains that comes with that as we work through the darkness until we get to the place where we reach the light. So, we need to have that supportive network. As professionals, we need that. And I strive to provide that within my school, so that all of our students feel supported, and they can pick up the phone and they can get that supervision and they can have that therapy. And I'm really lucky because I work with some really awesome therapists who all specialise in lots of different ways. I have Lisa, who specialises. She's a teacher, works with kids, and she specialises in teaching meditation as well as a healer. And she works a lot with athletes. And I've got Patty, who's got a background in physiotherapy and acupuncture and energy medicine, and she really specialises in supporting people with stress and anxiety. And then I've got Paul, who comes from a real business background, and he worked in quality in the oil and gas business. So he he really drives me to seek out perfection. He corrects me spelling mistakes. He's fabulous. I love him. And he's got such a warmth about him. And he works a lot with people who've been unemployed for a long period of time. And he works with people who have maybe, had long-term illnesses that they're looking to go back to work. And he looks at supporting people in business to be more successful. So we're all really different, but we've all got a passion for what we do. And collaboration, I was saying, is one of the best ways that I work. And I'm so blessed that I've found these gorgeous people to work alongside, and they make what I bring extra special too. So there you go.
Oh, that is just brilliant. I've got goosebumps, and I can agree with everything you're saying, and I can actually see, as you're talking about it, it's like my mind's eye is showing me all these different things, and that whole collaboration where it all comes together and it helps so many people. And it's wonderful. Yeah. I'm going to move on to the next question. Yeah. Is that Amazon?
I'm sure I'm not. Amazon's got I've just become an online shopper. It's unreal. Since lockdown.
I've always been probably one of Amazon's best customers, and there was something someone had sent something and they hadn't put the address on it, but the name was there, and the bloke knocked on the door and he says, "We knew this was for you," because they recognised me. I mean, I was on first name terms with Amazon because it's just so used to it.
Oh, I tell you what though, I do miss my little shopping trips. I'm looking forward to getting back. And there's a couple of really fabby shops in town that all sell crystals and lovely things, and the energy in those kind of shops, so like you can feel it singing almost in the environment. I love to kind of and I love an old bookshop as well, and they've got that kind of musty smell. York is one of my favourite places for shopping because there's full of bookshops and coffee shops and crystal shops and all these fantastic places. I love exploring these beautiful places. I'm looking forward to that. I was just looking at my photos of my trip to Morocco this morning. Facebook did that. Do you remember 4 years ago you were in Morocco? I was like, oh yeah. Time for some more adventures, I think.
Yes, I mean, you say about that, yes, crystal shops, and I'm a great people watcher, so I love the coffee shops, and I work from the coffee shops sometimes, because yes, I've got my home office, but it's nice to connect with people. And just when I used to do my creative writing, I'd go and I'd listen to conversations, because my teacher at university, my professor would say to us, go and listen to discussions, because they then become your characters in your books, and you can only catch a few things, and where can you put that in a story? It's just wonderful. And I'm not nosy, honestly, I'm not nosy, but it is nice to
Are you a curtain twitcher?
I'm afraid so, yes, there is a bit that.
It's all coming out now. Oh, brilliant.
Right, I will move on and ask you this next question. Amanda, what is your biggest challenge and why?
Well, I think it's taking care of my own health. When I was 16, I was diagnosed with HS, which is a very shortened version, because the long name is something like hidradenitis suppurativa, and it's one of those weird, unexplained inflammatory disorders. And the reality for me is that I get these horrific egg-sized boils in my armpits, in my groin. They're debilitating. And when I have a flare-up of that HS flare-up, I can't walk properly, because you can't walk with an egg-sized boil between your legs, I have and I get aches and pains and chills and fever, and I also get inflammation in my eyes as well with that, and that causes blindness. So I have to really, really take care of my own health. I mean, I'm absolutely blessed, because the work that I do gives me these incredibly powerful tools and techniques, and I haven't actually had a flare up where I've been poorly for a really, really long time now. And I do believe that with the power of my mind, I've healed myself in lots and lots of different ways, and perhaps it'll never come back. Maybe I kind of feel like there are a lot of healing that's happened, that it's healed areas that will never come back. But I really have to be quite disciplined with myself, because in the past, when I wasn't, and when I was people pleasing, when I was running around all over the place, and when I was partying all weekend and then working really hard all week, I wasn't well physically. I wasn't well mentally, but I wasn't well physically. But there is still a little bit of me that kind of has this, like, just keep doing more, keep going. And sometimes I have to kind of remind myself that, when I'm tired, it's because I need to rest. when I start hearing that little voice in my head saying, come on, just do just a bit more, I have to go, whoa, hang on a minute. Why? Yeah. Let's have a bit of time out this afternoon. Let's do like what that lady was saying, that lady you were talking about, Mel Robbins. Let's have a bath in the middle of the day and just take some time out to chill. I'm really blessed, because I have these really fantastic routines and habits now that are all around sort of eating well and resting well and taking really good care of myself. But it is something that I have to be really conscious of on a daily basis, that I don't go back over and end up in that place of feeling physically horrible and yucky, and just feeling quite in a place of quite dark despair, emotionally and mentally. So yeah, that's something that I have tools and skills now to work in my life, which have become just like second nature to me. But it's still something that I'm very conscious of, that I battle with. It's that little voice that says, just another hour at midnight, when I should really be going to bed. I have to be really disciplined.
I can relate to all of that. And I think when we first started Serenity, when Michelle Clark was asking, why do I do things? I've got a corporate background. I've always worked for myself. So although my clients were corporate, I've never truly been corporate myself. But I used to find, again, you want that people pleaser. I'd travel from the Midlands into Westminster. I'd be up at 3:30 every morning. I'd get the 6 o'clock train. I'd be in Westminster at my desk for 7 o'clock, and I wouldn't leave until 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. So I'd maybe be on the 10 o'clock train home. And I'd wonder why I was so tired. And you'd maybe get the odd more colds than you were used to, and they'd last longer. And for me, it was always the cough, because again, like we're speaking now, I'd be training people, so I'd be talking constantly. I'd be in 8 meetings a day where I'd be talking to people, telling people. And I had my flu jab because I've got type 2 diabetes, and I was under the weather when I had the flu jab, and it turned to full-blown flu, and I had 3 weeks off. And being self-employed and 3 weeks off, of course, you get no income, as everyone with COVID learned. When you don't work, you don't get paid. So you have that stress, and you don't realise that stress can physically come out as an illness.
Oh, it's a huge impact.
And
stress is one of the biggest killers.
Yeah, and
in nowadays.
And when I've asked other guests about their biggest challenge, they've gone on about things that they like to do, but you've hit the nail on the head of actually saying, learning when to stop, and actually saying, listen to your body.
Yeah, that's right. You've got to tune into your body, and if it says you're tired, rest. And if it says you need a wee, you know to go for a wee, don't you? You don't stop having a wee. Just, you have to listen and follow what your body says. But we seem to tune out. And that's, the whole eating thing for me was about really, really listening to my body as well, and being mindful about what I was eating. And I was going to say something else, but I forgot what it is, so it mustn't have been that important.
It'll come back. I'm sure it'll come back. Now, this next question, so many people have told me that it's very egotistical. Now, I didn't think of it as being egotistical, but we'll see. Ooh. Amanda, how do you want to be remembered?
Oh, I just want people to remember that I was fun to be with. That's what I want people to, my family, when somebody dies, we usually have a bit of a wake, and it's usually a party, and there's usually quite a lot of drinking and drunkenness. But one of the things that I remember when my nana died, we all just sat round and shared stories of her. And the thing that really came over when we all remembered her was just how kind she was, and just how she was a very strong Christian, and she used to work down near Liverpool on the Wirral, and she used to go out and hand out condoms to prostitutes and make sure that the prostitutes had sexual protection, and that if they needed help, she would provide them. She was a tough cookie, but she had so much kindness and practical things that she would put in place with people, and she was amazing. But we all shared these incredible stories of how kind she was. Well, I think if I think about how when people get to the end, when I get to the end and I'm off on my next adventure, because that's what a death is, it's the next adventure, isn't it? When I go to my next adventure, I'd like people to just say, I enjoyed hanging out with Amanda. It was fun. I think that's all I would like. Yeah. Happy, joyous, and free. I'd like people to feel that when they're around me. That was a poem. Just invented that.
You've achieved that. Anyone that connects with you, that is the feeling you instill in everyone. It really is lovely.
Oh, well, good. That's good. I like that.
And there goes Siri again, so I do apologise, people.
All right.
Right, I'm going to move to the next question. Now, as a child, what did you want to be, and how close to that dream are you now?
Well, I think I grew up in a Yorkshire village. There was 18 houses, and I have 4 brothers, and so I was the only girl in a household of boys. So when I was really little, I wanted to be a boy. I didn't want to be a girl. I wanted to be like a BMX stunt man, or and I liked climbing trees quite a lot. I wanted to be a boy and a stunt man. That didn't quite work out, Pearl. But I quite like all things feminine and beautiful, and I see the strength in the goddess aspect of myself now. But I think as a teenager, I wanted to be a physiotherapist. I wanted to be a nurse. I kind of like couldn't decide nurse or physio, and I have kind of done both of those things. I became a nurse. I did nursing, and it was an incredibly rewarding career. I loved it. And I haven't ever trained as a physiotherapist, but I've done a lot of kind of like the physical body. I have an understanding of the anatomy and physiology of the body. I have an understanding of the working of the body, and I've been doing sort of massage and touch therapies and energy work for many, many years. So I wasn't quite a physio, but I was more a holistic sort of therapist, body worker, if you like, energy worker, massage therapist, and I've done those things as well. So the things I guess I wanted to do as a child, I've kind of done them, and I'm in my next evolution now. I'm on the next part of my journey, which is all about using my voice to share these amazing tools and techniques that I've experienced fabulous transformation, and that I hope that they can share with others, get that that have those wonderful moments for themselves, but share them with other people as well. I kind of want to spread this like a disease. Let's have a pandemic of positivity around the planet. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? A positivity pandemic, please. Can we have one of them? I think as a child, I always wanted to nurture and care for others, and I think this is just another way of me being that kind of caring, nurturing person, but showing other people how they can do it too now.
Oh, I love that. Absolutely love that. And again, to reflect what other guests have said as well, the people that are at the pinnacle of their career and doing what they love, it's always been what their idea was, and even as a child. And that's where you've delivered on what you wanted, and you've stayed true to your beliefs and actually worked towards it. So it's lovely, lovely to hear. I'm going to move on. Now, this is me and one of my selfish things, because people that know me, I have passions. I have quite massive passions. Now, shoes are one. We can't really talk about shoes on a podcast. I have probably about 280, 300 pairs of shoes. Well, I'm a woman, so I'm going to have lots of that. I have books. I have thousands of books. And now I have loads and loads of crystals. So these are my passions. But I thought, right, I'm going to stick to books with this. So, Amanda, can you name 3 titles of your favourite books and why you've chosen them? And I know 3 is not fair, because you could probably think of loads and loads. But can you?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I guess in terms of like books that I keep going back to, I've got a few strange ones. So I think I have a Quran that I was given when I was in Saudi, and it was given to me as a kind of welcome to Islam. And although I wasn't converting to Islam, there was so much I took from being there and learning about the whole faith of peace, because Islam means peace, isn't it? And the whole faith around peace was really interesting. And there was a particular day where I went to the mosque. We had a women's mosque in our college, and I wanted to know what the whole thing was that they did, and I wanted them to be able to explain it to me in English. So it was a bit of a learning thing for them to talk about it in English, but I was really curious as to see, and we went and did all the ablutions where they wash, and you wash inside your ears, you wash your nose, you wash over your arms, and you have a good physical wash. But there's something really symbolic about washing, isn't there? You're kind of like washing away worries, washing away anxiety, washing away fears and concerns. So there's a kind of a whole thing that goes with the washing thing. And then when you do the prayer, there are certain positions that you go in, but one of the positions is where you're sort of on the floor, you're kneeling down, and your head is actually touching the floor as well, and you're in this real submission, this place of submission. And what I learned really there is to hand over these worries and concerns to a higher power, to a higher force, to an energy, like to not, you don't have to carry these burdens around with you. And so, if I'm usually, it's usually a spiritual breakfast moment. I'll maybe think, I'll have a little look at my Quran today, and I'll have a time of contemplation before I open it. And sometimes I just open it to a random page, and it usually really speaks to me, and I usually find it's really, really, something that's just for me on that day. So it might be a slightly unusual choice of book, but it's the one that I always go back to. My second favourite book has to be Harry Potter. All of them. I'm such a Harry Potter geek. I love Harry Potter. I love the books. I love the stories. I love the symbols behind the stories. I have Stephen Fry on audiobook. I do love to listen to him. If I've had a bit of a tough day, Stephen Fry reading Harry Potter is my go-to. So I love Harry Potter, any of the Harry Potter books. I'm not sure these are the sort of books that you wanted me to tell you about. And I guess a book that I've read most recently was called Wild Power. And I can't pronounce the name of the author, so I'm going to avoid saying that. But it's a book called Wild Power, and it's all about harnessing the energy of your cycles. We're not right comfortable talking about periods, and we've got some really weird ideas about periods and about they're a bit uncomfortable and they're kind of dirty, and they're we even talk about sanitary wear and sanitary towels, like we need something sanitary to clear up the mess and the dirt. It's like we've got such a weird culture around what are actually incredibly wonderful cycles. I mean, as a result of our natural cycles, we can make babies. That blows my mind. How can a human body know how to put the cells together to make another human being? It's just a miracle and miraculous. And I think we're certainly for me, I became a bit disconnected from my own body and my own cycles. And I didn't really like my periods when I was a teenager. I hated them because I wanted to be a boy and a BMX stuntman. I think we've become quite disconnected from our natural cycles and our rhythms, and many of us take contraception and other things that kind of like disrupt the natural flow. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but for me personally, because I had this really odd relationship with that aspect of me, it's a book that I found to be really, really helpful. It's helped me to understand how my energy works, in in correspondence with my body's cycles and the moon as well for me. And it's helped me to really understand at which points in the month have I got loads of energy, at which points in the month am I really focused, and at which points in the month do I need to just have some days off. And it means that I can be more effective in how I'm working because I understand my cycles. And I can't remember how to pronounce the name or say the name of the person who wrote it, but it's called Wild Power. And I'm sure if you Googled it, you'd find it. But there you go.
Absolutely.
Really, really weird combination there, but
it's perfect. It's perfect. Now, I grew up with my dad in the oil business, so he travelled all round and he did the Saudi stint, and he came back and they'd given him a Quran. So when you said that, the amount of memories you brought back for me, and I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
So that is so special. Harry Potter is one of the most mentioned books of all of my guests. And what I love with that...
Oh, really?
We've had so many generations that stopped reading. And Harry Potter brought the love of reading back to children, adults, everyone. It's ageless. But if it's brought that people want to pick up a book and immerse themselves and learn and grow, that is wonderful. And that is what J.K. Rowling and Harry Potter did, is it actually brought the love of reading back. So the fact that so many of my guests are mentioning Harry Potter, I think is wonderful. I know it's something my daughter is passionate about, and we used to order all the books from Amazon. That's when it used to be that you get it the day it was published, and if it was cheaper elsewhere, I always used to get money back on Amazon as well. So with that, and the things we got it in hardback and in paperback, so you've got lots of different things. And again, watching the films, my daughter will have she set time aside and she will just binge watch on the films on certain times, and it's just wonderful.
Fabulous.
It is. And when you talk,
I love a Harry Potter binge watch.
Definitely. And when you say about wild power and the cycles, the amount of people, synchronicity, the amount of people that have been talking about that, where you actually understand, like when you said about the moon cycles and getting that. I can remember before I had children and everything, I worked in the pub trade, and I go up and out down the country, and wherever I worked, the other women I worked with, our cycles would sync. It was always me that my cycle would change to fit in with everyone else. But people don't realise how things like it's linked to the tides, and it's so many different ways. And if you get to understand those cycles, like you say, when are you most creative? And when do you know and learn to stop and step back? There is so much information there. So yes, every single one of the books you've suggested, all the novels are fantastic, and for so many different reasons, and you pull them together, and that gives you almost a blueprint to move forward and something to use and something you can actually apply on a day-to-day basis as well, which again is why I love books, because it brings so much
Yeah, I have got so many books, it's ridiculous. But I was interviewing a lady a while ago who was telling me that when she got first on her spiritual path, she read everything she could get her hands on, but by the end of it she was propping her bed up on these stacks of books. And I remember laughing and thinking I can relate to
that. and now where you've got Audible, you've got the audio books, and you've got the ebooks, quite often I have my titles in all three ways, because it depends where you're traveling. Quite often, like when I used to commute a lot for work, having a Kindle or having it on your tablet to actually read, you can have a whole library there, whereas the one book. And then this is where I was so sad. I went through a bit where I wouldn't read properly because I didn't want to break the spine of the book. So if I had a book, I'd open it slightly so that it looked like it had never been read, because it seemed not that you mustn't break.
Oh no, I'm a full-on book destroyer. I read books in the bath. They get slightly steamy and soggy. I fold the corners down, like, you know. And after I've read it, if I've really enjoyed it and I feel it's going to benefit someone, I'll pass it on to someone else. But you know, you'll never get a book from me that looks pristine.
I mean that was until I went to university, and I studied English at university. So all of my books would be turned down, and I had my little the bits, the bookmarks and everything. Or it got to the stage, if I didn't have time to read the book, I was great for the contents or the index at the back. And if we had to answer a set essay, I'd look at where and find it in the book and say, right, that's my quote. It got me through, and I learned so much. But it is, for a while, I couldn't tell you what books I loved because I'd had it drummed into me. I had to study them. I didn't know what I loved. Whereas now I read fiction, I read non-fiction. I think because we all strive to be at the top of our tree, we're always researching. So I'm always reading around my business and what I want to do. But it's a passion. It's a passion. And I love it. I'm now going to move on and ask you, who would you say are your key influencers and why?
Well, years ago, I worked with a guy called Dave Goodfellow. He was a clinical hypnotherapist and a pagan as well, actually. He was really very, very into paganism and reflect his life. He wanted his life to reflect the cycles of the planet. And, you know, he was so calm and so kind all of the time. He was a real inspiration for me to become a hypnotherapist. You know, he was the one that planted that seed. And you know, I know he's died now. He had cancer and died, which was really, really sad. Taken too soon. But I quite often chat with him in you know, when I'm doing things, and I'm always really grateful for the influence that he had, and just the way that he lived was such a positive way. I sort of emulated a lot of what he did, and I do things the way that he did them because, you know, he was always this incredibly wise person. And I sometimes ask myself, what would Dave do? What would Dave do? And, you know, he's like, as a little guide for myself, and maybe he is, you know, with me in spirit sometimes. I often wonder whether he is, and sort of guiding me and giving me, but I can sometimes hear his voice in my head, you know, and saying the things that he always used to say to me. So he was definitely one of my inspirations. Who else has inspired me? So many people. When I was a teenager, it was Margot Fontaine who inspired me. I always thought she was just so incredible to have survived through wartime, living in Paris, and continued to do the thing that she loved, which was ballet and dance. And she was just this incredible force of nature that just never gave up and just fought for her passion and for the things that she loved. So I guess she was one of my really inspiring people as a child. But I don't know, who's my Erickson, maybe. Some of the hypnotherapists are pretty inspiring, the way that they work. Elman's one of my favourites, although I think he makes me laugh. He used to induce people into hypnosis using cigarettes and getting them to smoke. And it's so inappropriate, but I love it. Like, it's so bad, it's good. But you know, his techniques and what he brought to hypnotherapy has like, it's like made waves throughout the whole of our industry. You know, Bandler as well. another incredible force of nature, and his work has provided us with some incredible tools. So too many to say, but yeah.
Oh, this is wonderful. It's, say to the listeners, I told you this lady is so special, and the information and the knowledge she has and that she's sharing. Told you needed the pen and paper. You've got so much there. Now, I'm going to move on to my longest question. It is why I put it in, but when I ask the question, I think people will realise why I've put it in, but it's quite a mouthful. So here I go. If you could share a great meal with anyone, alive or dead, what would the meal be and who would it be with?
All right, without a doubt, it would be fish and chips and mushy peas.
Yep.
With a nice cup of tea and bread and butter. Because you can't beat that.
Yes.
Who would I have at the dinner? Oh, man, I think this probably changes on a daily basis. Okay, who would I have at the dinner table? I think I would have Sigmund Freud.
Yep.
I reckon he'd be a bit of a miserable guest, to be honest. But I have lots of questions I'd like to ask him, and I'd just like to get a sense of his energy, and you know who he is, and why he wrote what he did, and what influenced him. I have lots of ideas about who he is and what influenced him. And during my time living and studying in Edinburgh, I was nursing a lady who I think her husband's father was quite a famous psychoanalytic psychologist, and really brought about changes and moved away from Freudian theories. And I know that Freud wasn't very good at hypnosis. He didn't like it. He wasn't right good, which is why I stuck, because he couldn't get rapport with people. They didn't like him. He was a bit stiff and a bit weird, I reckon. This is just my theory. But that's why he kind of like focused on the dream analysis and on his psychosexual stages of development. But I'd love to have him at my dinner party. I think he'd be quite good. Michael Jackson. I know there's been some awful things said about him over the times, but I've always loved his music, and I think maybe he did do a lot of the things that have been suggested that he did, and maybe he was guilty, but I think he was probably just a very, very damaged person. And we've all got damage. We've all got areas, we all don't do the things that he was suggested, that was suggested that he did. But I reckon that he just brings some groovy music to the fish and chip mushy pea dinner party that we're having with Freud. So Freud and Michael Jackson would have to be there. I feel like I need a woman. at the dinner table with me. Can I think of any women who would quite like? So many to choose from. I don't know. I'll probably just have my best mate. Can I have my best mate? Can I have my mate? I've got like my best mate's called Kate, and we're like, our lives are in total synchronicity to the point now where if I get a parking fine, I ring her and tell her I've had a parking fine today, so watch out, you might get one. We had the same. We didn't know each other as children, but we had the same pets and they had the same names. We had the same nickname as kids. We had the same ballet teacher, but in different locations. And there's so many things in our lives that are just so weirdly connected. We feel a bit like we call ourselves soul sisters. I've really missed her over lockdown, and I've missed our hugs, and I've missed our times of slobbing out on the couch and nibbling on chipsticks and hummus and talking crap, because that's what we love doing, just talking nonsense and laughing together. So definitely have my mate. I'm not sure that she'd approve of my choice of guests. I'm sure she'd just come along anyway. So my best mate, Kate, Michael Jackson and Sigmund Freud. There you go. And fish and chips, much peas.
Now, that it's either fish and chips or it's a roast dinner. That's the most popular meal that people choose. And
Is it really? There you go.
And Michael Jackson has now been mentioned twice as someone that they...
Oh, there you go.
And it's either family or friends as well. So, yes, it's just wonderful. And that sort of conversation would be great. Can you just imagine having the way you ate food analysed by Mr. Freud? You just...
Can you imagine?
And then if you start...
I'd love to watch Michael Jackson and Freud working together. Can you imagine that? That'd be incredible.
And if you afterwards, I mean, can you just imagine that? It would just be brilliant from your cup of tea. Absolutely perfect. I love it. Now, we've almost come to the end. The time has flown, and I know we've gone over the time. So thank you, because you've got so much to share. And I will ask you now.
It's hard getting me to shut up, Pearl, to be honest. It's hard to get me to shut up. Once I start, you can't stop me.
Can I invite you back now to be a regular guest? You have so much information to share. You are so knowledgeable. And I think our rapport, as we've been discussing this is why we've overrun from the initial time I asked you. It just works. So I would love to invite you, Amanda, back to be a regular...
I would love to come back. I'd absolutely love it. Yeah. We might have to put a timer on and some kind of a buzzer system for us.
And you've heard that. There's my voice getting croaky. Now, listeners, I say this... Now that I know that we can ask Amanda back, please make sure you subscribe to the podcast, because those that subscribe know when a new episode has been added. So you know straight away, you can listen to it straight away. So I'll move on from that. And what I will do, I've got last two questions, so I will pull them together to ask. Firstly, Amanda, what services or items do you offer to your clients or customers or to your students? And do you have any special offers at present that the listeners can grab as soon as they've heard them?
Yes, I do. Okay, well, obviously I work as a hypnotherapist, so I'm currently working online. I work with lots of different areas, modalities, in ways that I can help you on a one-to-one basis. If you're going through something in your life and you just want to talk it over, and I offer a free consultation, because I think it's really important for you to have the opportunity to meet me and decide if you want to work with me, and I want to know if I can really help you as well. So I offer a free consultation, and you can book in for that free consultation via my website, which is just amandajoy.co.uk, and then so that's more of on a kind of how I work one-to-one with people, but at the moment, what's my real passion is my foundation and diploma in clinical hypnotherapy. So, when you commit to do a diploma in clinical hypnotherapy, there's 140 hours of classroom time, so you need to commit to that. But then there's about another 350 to 400 hours of self-study time that you need to commit to as well. And then there's a financial commitment. So it's quite a lot for you to consider when you're in that should I, shouldn't I, should I train, shouldn't I train? Maybe it's something that is completely new to you and you've never thought about it and you're like, ooh, I might quite like to work in that area. Or maybe you've been wanting to do it for years, but you've just never done it. Or maybe you're already working as a therapist, and because of the current climate, you've had to change the way that you look at your work. You're looking to upskill. But it's a big commitment. It's a big step. So at the Northern College of Clinical Hypnotherapy, we offer a foundation training weekend. And on that foundation training weekend, you get a little bit of history of hypnosis, a little bit of background. I like to respect my lineage and tell people about, where it all started and how it came to be where it is now, because it's a really interesting journey that the practice of hypnosis has been on. And some of these tools and techniques have developed over these times, and I think it's good to know where they came from. So we have a little bit of background. a bit of history. We learn about what hypnosis really is and how it works. What is it and how does it work? And then on that first weekend, you learn how to very safely and effectively guide someone into a hypnotic trance, how to deepen that trance so they're in this blissful but perfect healing space for therapy. And then we also guide you and give you the tools to help you to build confidence. You know, a lack of confidence is something that is like a bit of a pandemic, isn't it? We all want to look a certain way, be a certain way, and sometimes life demands that we have to have, you know, the perfect bum and the right boobs, or be a certain way or act a certain way. And actually, you know, you don't, but you need to have the confidence to be you. And that's an incredibly powerful tool that we can share with our clients. But it's also really good for anyone who's about to set off on a new journey and do something completely different. So we also teach self-hypnosis, and we give you the tools to build your own confidence as well. And then it really does, it's like fueling up your rocket. And if then you want to make the commitment and go on and do the diploma course, well, then you can choose. And if you've dipped your toe in the water and you think, you know what, it's not for me, well, you've not had a massive commitment of time and money and all of those other things that I was talking about. You just get to have a little sample. And if you're a meditation teacher and you're looking to kind of do a bit of continuing professional development, or if you're a therapist and you're looking to do a bit of continuing professional development, and it's just a kind of, you want to have more of an interest, this course is also for you. So it's 14 hours of continuing professional development, training, and a foundation in clinical hypnosis. And this is the best bit. You get to become, as a result of doing that foundation, you get to join the Complementary Medical Association. Now, I don't know if you've heard of them, but I had Janie Goddard on the Wednesday Wellbeing show a couple of weeks ago, and I think she's on this week as well, actually. And she is one of the directors of this incredibly progressive organisation, and they are really sit alongside Western medicine in terms of research and in terms of how we are, you know, our industry is very progressive. It's changed, it's transformed, and there's a lot of information out there. So they work doing research, they're very progressive, and under their umbrella they have a whole different range of therapists. It's not just hypnotherapy. So you get to become a member of them, and they've got loads of free training and all sorts of stuff as well on offer. They're amazing. And then you can get insurance to practice. So it means that as you are learning and doing this diploma course, as you are developing your skills, you practice obviously in the class and with your colleagues first, but then you can go out and actually start working with people, and you've got an accrediting body that's supporting you, and you've got insurance in place just in case you need it. Not that you would, but it's there anyway. And it just means that you safe and effectively can get out and start working with people and using these tools. And many of my students actually pay for their course fees just because they're able to actually start their businesses before they've even graduated. So the foundation course is a great way to begin. And our next sort of intake of students is September and October, and the foundation training weekend is just £100. So it's not a huge investment for you to dip your toe in the water and see if it is for you, and see if it's a career that you want to have, pursue. See if it's for you. Come and dip your toe in the water without a big kind of scary financial investment. So I guess that's a really good offer that I can tell you about.
Brilliant. And your passion comes through. And I think that's one of the things that any of the listeners, I told you, this lady is so, so special, and is everything you've shared, and your knowledge and expertise. You've listened to this on the podcast. Just imagine what you're getting when Amanda's actually training and teaching you. You've got that full immersion where you're actually learning from the best, and it's just pure perfection. It really is.
Oh, perfectly imperfect, I like to say. But thank you, Pearl. That's lovely. That's so lovely to hear that. Thank you so much.
And what I say to the audience, to the listeners, as always, all the links to everything that Amanda does will be put in the description, so you can go through to her website, to follow her on Facebook, so you know you've got all the information. I'll let you know when her shows are on, so you know exactly to schedule into your calendar and listen to those. And it just leaves me to say a massive, massive thank you. She says with a very croaky voice, but thank you for being my guest. I can't thank you enough. I have loved this interview. You are such a very, very special lady, and it's been a pleasure sharing with everything that you've taught us, that you've explained to us, and just learning of your journey. It's just been wonderful.
Oh, thank you, Pearl. I absolutely love your show, and I'm already excited and looking forward to coming back on again. So thank you so much for having me on. It's great. It's not difficult for me to talk about the things that I love and I'm passionate about. It's when you see on a daily basis incredible transformations, it's such a joy. It really is. I was called Amanda Joy clearly for a reason. So thank you for having me on. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Pearls of Wisdom podcast. We hope you have enjoyed the content shared. Please share with others who would like to enjoy these interviews and discussions. If you would like to support the podcast, please follow the link in the episode description. If you want to be a guest on the show, reach out and let's discuss next steps. Until the next time, enjoy your listening.